Good morning, because it is before noon. Hold on, Calypso's in the closet. Let me open the door just in case she needs to come out of there. Oh, man. The details in this case are so disturbing. They're so... I don't even really know what to think. I don't know. Something about this guy still makes me feel like in his mind this was some sort of maybe like sacrificial killing. I don't even know because the timing. But the timing could also just be coincidental to his rage, which is not an excuse, but you still want to try to understand, like, what the hell were you thinking, you stupid psycho, right, when it comes to this case? So they have updated some information when it comes to her death certificate, and it no longer says no when pregnant is on there, and now it says unknown. So I don't know what changed. Maybe the report coming out talking about everything they had discussed in way of A's and taking pills to no longer be pregnant and stuff like that, because that's apparently all part of the evidence. The case is just so disgusting. The details are so disgusting. The case really sucks. Let's say hi for a few minutes before we start getting into something heavy, because this is going to be heavy. She was 14 when all of these things happened to her. 11-ish when they met. 13. At least that's what they're claiming when they started sleeping together. She's not the only minor that he was doing stupid stuff with. And if you really go back and you look at his pictures, right? And the Hello Kitty shit and the immaturity and all of that was that costume to make himself look younger so that he could get his target. Because look how much older he looked in his mugshot compared to like what he looks like for the media. It was all cosplay to him. It's all just very, 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 very gross. Welcome, Deborah. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hey there, USA. How are you doing? Hey, Christina. Hey there, Ice Queen. How are you? Yeah, there was an update yesterday. So again, I don't know if they had this like faint levels and they weren't sure and it wasn't enough. So they instantly just marked it as at that. But now like the whole unknown thing, I think it's based on like conversation, other evidence around all the testing. It's just really bad. Hey there, Rachel. What is being covered over here? I have so many questions. Ooh. Well, hello, ma'am. What are you bunny hopping up here for? What are you doing? You're not going to be in the window, ma'am. Let me let her out real quick so she can go to the other window, or she's going to cause me all kinds of chaos. Give me 1 second. Okay, she can go to the other window now. Who tattled? How did they know he and then watched her die? He must have bragged about that. I honestly don't know. I haven't like read through the whole thing. Like I've listened to a lot of people talk about it. I have the whole thing. I have the medical examiner's report, but I wanted to just like read it with you guys to get like the details word for word. The way that I'm hearing multiple people describe it is that there was like a 20-minute time lapse from first attack to death. That it was not fast. And they're apparently even questioning if maybe her fingers that are missing were taken off before she was completely gone. I don't know about the rest of it. I know there's something about body bags that were bought. Like, who knew that you could buy body bags that are literally used for moving cadavers off of like a website without some sort of medical license? That's crazy. That's crazy. You can't even buy certain volume hair developer or certain brands of hair products without having a freaking license, but you can buy straight up designed to carry dead body bags just anywhere off the internet. That's wild. That's crazy. So I don't know. I'm guessing this just something in the way that and again, she was so decomposed. I don't know how they know that. So maybe because she was apparently killed on April 23rd and he didn't start taking her apart until the 5th. And now these videos and stuff were already out there, but they're just like resurfacing now. And if you've been following the case, and you've probably seen these. And remind me in the chat later, after we're done reading this stuff, that there's a video that SF put out that the prosecutors released of the person that was last seen driving the Tesla. But there was a bunch of videos that had come out before, after like the car was found and the body was found, like even before Celeste's name, really. All these videos were going around and people in his house were like complaining about the smell. And it was just always being blamed on like other things, or they were making like sarcastic remarks about like somebody in the bathroom or something like that. Whole time it's her. The neighborhood even like called because the car like was attracting a smell, and then it got towed, and then of course that's why the cops ended up getting called, and the body was actually found was because it was attracting flies at the freaking tow yard. Now, apparently the prosecutors believe that he was the one to last drive the black Tesla, but I don't believe that that's actually true unless he had on that like weird little blonde wig thing that I've seen him wear that looks like it looks like a wig, like a beanie wig or whatever that has like blonder hair on it. I mean, maybe he bleached his hair. I don't know. I don't remember what his hair looked like back at that time. I didn't really dig into his social media at that point, but the video has somebody with like blonder-ish hair. Like the window's actually down some, which says a lot about the smell, right? Like not all the way down, but down a little bit. At least that's how I remember it. It might not be, but that's how my brain remembers it. We're going to watch it. But I remember Steve Fisher claiming that they did have the video, which obviously now we're seeing it, of the person that moved it, and that the person was later seen on social media the same day wearing the same outfit that's seen on cameras. But the way that Steve was putting it, he didn't really make it seem as if it was David. A lot of like finger pointing has been towards his friend Neo. So there's that too. But I still find it interesting that the registration on the black Tesla wasn't done up at the beginning of the year in 2025. And like beginning of February, he started leasing out that red Tesla that got taken from the property after he moved out of there. Like, is that going to be part of like maybe a premeditation type thing? Like, was the Tesla being where her final resting spot was the plan the whole time? Because why did that happen? I never saw like a reason for that happening when it happened. And also, I don't remember if the family bothers me, because I remember distinctly the brother coming out and saying that the last time that they saw Celeste, she was being picked up to go to a movie on a Friday night in that same black Tesla that she was found in. Like, that was his direct quote. Like, that's what he said. But then we find out that that's not true, that family members knew exactly where she was the entire year before she was killed. That she wasn't living with him at that time. Apparently, he Ubered her over there. And I think Steve said something like 80 miles. He Ubered her over to his house that day, over 80 miles. But she wasn't not like taken off the missing persons report. The parents were acting like they didn't know like where she was, that she'd been a runaway the whole time. The brother literally just said what he said, but then we have all this proof the family members saw her. Not just like one of them going to like, I think like a Six Flags, and there was like Build-A-Bear receipts that had family members' names on them with dates that coincide with stuff. But there was also videos of her being at like family get-togethers doing like dances and stuff like that in the time frame that she had apparently been like reported missing. So there's that too. Also, the family, when they heard about the body in the Tesla and who it belonged to, like they went to TMZ instead of the cops. right away. Like the first thing that they thought of was, oh, I'm going to contact the news of all places. I'm going to contact TMZ. That rubbed everybody wrong instantly. There's just so much going on. Yeah, there's apparently conversations about that kind of stuff too. Hey, there's so much corruption. How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? How you doing, Tara? Hey, Debs. Hey, Alice. You too. Yeah, like I don't really quite understand that either, especially since the internet, the public internet, could see all of the proof of their relationship, the years that it went back to, and then there were people that had tried to expose him like a year or two before this and had been threatened and had a bunch of stuff happen to them. Like there was like I'm pretty sure it's two separate guys. One is like a little bit chunkier than the other one. They do look like, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's two different guys that have come out and like given proof and receipts that they had tried to turn him in because they knew about the stuff with Celeste. And on top of that, his tour manager knew about her. There's literally like transactional correspondence and chronological dates of this circle of events that took place that proves that they were all very well aware that she was an underage missing child. Even his mother and his dad, like there's no way the family didn't know. There's videos of her being around his family. She had passports. He'd apparently taken her to London at some point as a minor. But then again, we also have to remember she apparently had a whole bunch of fake IDs. But where'd she get them from? David? Who was he getting them from at the time? Because he just stepped onto the scene. His dad that worked in places that are connected to Epstein? Because that was crazy to find out. Especially since that viral clip came out where they're like talking about how it's so controversial to talk about R-ing kids, and like Epstein gets brought up, and like that's the video where he's like, delete this, delete all the VODs or blah, 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 whatever they call them. There was so much of a paper trail. I don't understand why he wasn't instantly brought in simply for the fact that there was already a missing persons report and the whole school knew she was with him. Like it was very well known. We knew that from the clip that the teacher came out telling everybody that everybody knew. Like, I don't know why he wasn't instantly brought in the second that her body was found in his vehicle. That would have been enough of a charge. It was already there. It was already happening. It doesn't make any sense, right? None. Hey there, Legal Swag. How are you? Hey there, Carrie. Hey there, Diamond Faces. That's what I'm wondering. Because there's a video out there. I think I might have saved it to my Twitter. But it's on the 23rd of April, and there's like two videos he posted that day. I showed you guys one the other day whenever we were talking about this, but there's another one, and it's an actual like video, and in the background, there's like somebody sitting on a chair with like a black shirt or a black hoodie on moving around. It could have been her right before he did it. I don't know. But she was found in like a yellow tube top. I'm pretty sure that that's what I remember it reading. We're going to read the whole thing of like them getting to the scene and how it's described on scene after now, like it's been all unsealed, and then we're going to look at the primary report. I'm thinking they were already on him. They had to have been. That's what I'm saying. They had to have been, because there was already his name involved. Like the way that it went was that somebody had sent like his manager, is it Josh Marshall? I know for a fact the guy's last name is Marshall, had sent him like the missing persons poster. Somehow it got over to David, and like less than 48 hours later, she's back home after being missing and them not knowing where she was. So basically, the story that came from the teacher was that she had lied to him about her age. Home, dude, you met her when she was 11. You freaking knew. Miss me with the dumb shit. Alrighty. Okay. And then there was some blackmail stuff going on, which is where the pictures come in of him giving people money to be quiet. And apparently there's been reports now of kids coming forward saying that he was giving them like $1,000 at a time to shut up. $1,000 at a time to shut up. And that wasn't the only one. She was not the only one that he was illegally messing with. Then, at the time those pictures were being taken, at the time that she was first reported missing, or at the time of her death. That was like their big argument. apparently, was that they weren't really together anymore, but they were still sleeping together. And he was sleeping with all these other people too. And then at the time that he killed her, there was another girl that he was messing around with that was just like 2 blocks away or some shit, Steve said. Like, I don't know if it was 2 blocks, but I think it was like 2 blocks or 2 miles, like right there. Right there. And he would just like switch them out. Nasty mofo. That's what I'm saying. Like the fact that she had a passport, who signed off on that? Like that information is going to have to end up being presented in court, right? The fact that he took her there and there was a passport and she was a minor, were the parents involved in getting this passport? That's going to matter. And if not, like, did they fake her documentation and the passport offices gave them a passport based off of fake documents, and now there needs to be an investigation into the passport offices? Because what? Like, it's one or the other, right? Like, I don't know any other options when it comes to that. I really don't. Hey there, Gloria, how are you? Yeah, I just don't see how, with everything that the public already knew. Hey there, Jesse. Hey there, Jess. I don't know. And then for them to have gone months with this investigative grand jury, and when they brought him in and arrested him, they didn't even have any freaking charges filed with the DA. They could have presented the case on Monday and been like, yeah, sorry, I don't see enough, and just let him go. That's a scary thought, considering everything that we know. Yeah, like, I'm sorry, I'm not. There's really nothing in my mind that's going to sit there and make me believe for a second that there's even a slight possibility that this guy is innocent of this. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. There's just no way. I just don't understand how anyone could think that, when we have people in his own community that knew about this, and the timing adds up for what the argument was and what was at risk for him in his mind, and he had to get rid of the problem. Now, could there be other people involved? Hell yeah, there could have been. There were multiple people at that house. Within like hours, not even hours after he killed her, apparently, he's sending out reminders about his freaking album coming out and the party that they were about to have for the album coming out, and telling his viewers on his TikTok that their prayers were coming true or some shit like that, because his album was about to be released on the 23rd of April when she was killed. No qualms, no emotions, just, hey, make sure you're ready to spend your money on me. I killed my muse for this. Because that's what it seemed like. I mean, I don't recall him writing any other songs with any other females' names in them. Like, her name is in his music. It doesn't matter if he was sleeping with other people. Minors or not, because they were underage. None of them had songs with her name in them. He was obsessed with her. Why they weren't actually together at the time and all the other stuff was going on, I don't know. But it's proven fact with his behaviors and the matching tattoos and the songwriting and the everything that he did to her being portrayed in music under this Atame character, that he was obsessed with her. And it started when she was 11. It's just so disgusting. Hey there, Wisteria. How are you doing? How you doing? Hey there, Guerrero. How are you? How are you? Yeah, no, I don't. Like, if you get kicked out of here, I did it. I did it. Hey, Tara. Hey, horror movie gal. How are you? How are you? We are about to pull these documents up. I've been running my mouth for like almost 30 minutes now. But that's okay. Hey there, P1111. How are you doing? That's what I'm saying. One of the very first videos is a video of his brother taking her backstage. And she's wearing like pretty much everything that was described in her missing persons poster, like the Hello Kitty slippers, everything. It's just like I'm not like super deep diving into everything. Like I mean, I sort of am because I listen to it in the background the same way that I do like Gypsy Rose, like recent stuff, just so like I know what's going on. But like these reports are so important because it shows the depravity. It shows the disgusting. It shows the mental issue. It shows the what the hell. It shows the fact that he is capable. And let me just, for legal reasons, say if he's actually the one that did it, okay? It shows that he's capable of not only taking someone's life, but mutilating the body, storing the body, going back and doing who knows freaking what to the body, and then walking out and acting like he doesn't have a bleeding body in the closet that's left eye ends up missing and fingers are off. Like he can just go out there and pretend like these things didn't happen. He just like announces like a breakup, like it was nothing, according to like the timeline for his little group that knew all about them publicly on like freaking Discord. Like what? Like what? Like that's so crazy. Online. You enter online. He did not start off with music. He actually started off as a Fortnite gaming streamer. Then he started making music on his iPhone, he said. And for some reason, it just like took off. And I will say that he is talented. That's like what's so screwed up about this, because I am never one that can separate the art from the artist. If I find out that you're a piece of shit father, I'm not watching your movies and donating a freaking dime to your royalties when you're not taking care of your children. If I find out that you're an abusive piece of shit, I'm not going to listen to your music. I will definitely homeskill it every time. Okay? Every time. And that does suck, because if you don't know the background behind his music, I will admit he is pretty talented. The way that he puts his stuff together, how like easily it seemed to like come to him, but he obviously was channeling it from a very disgusting place, because even the stuff that's supposed to be some sort of like love song is all about death and darkness. And not like the rock and roll kind of like death and darkness, like the, oh, that mofo is going to kill somebody eventually. This is an obsessive person. This is somebody who is going to end up latching onto someone and literally mean what he says when he says, if I can't have you, no one will. I can't live without this person. Like something weird was going to end up happening. That was the vibe. But you also have to take into account that humans are very greedy. And people have done, sadly and sickeningly, a hell of a lot worse in order to keep their money flowing than the sick, disgusting shit that we're about to read about. Humans have been broken for a super, super long time. Yeah, everyone. Literally freaking everyone. Everyone. SF just made a new tweet. Let me go check and see what he's talking about real quick. And then we'll start going over the scene. Oh yeah, okay. Okay, I'll leave this open and we'll jump to this after we read the preliminary docs. Because it's mentioning text messages and stuff like that. There are people that believe that he had texted her phone to like try to pretend like he didn't know where she was. There's like a "where are you" text and like a couple other things. Even after like movement was made, like something about how he ended up leaving to go to San Bernardino County or some shit like that. And there's like messages from around that time frame too. So SF has a tweet out about that, but we'll get to that after we look at this stuff. The only part of the actual, oh, thank you for the 5 gifted memberships, Shannon. Oh, you did it twice. Oh, 10 gifted memberships. I appreciate that. Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. The only part that I want to read when it comes to the medical examiner's report is the scene itself. How the body was placed, the way that it's being described, bagged up, I guess, like just the way that she was. This report is from the medical examiner from the county of Los Angeles. They did all of the examination information on September 10th, 2025. And I don't think they'd announced her name at that time. But we knew the second that they announced that the body was found, who owned the car. Like instant. We knew who owned the car. And he just kept on touring, bro. He just kept on touring. Like they didn't just find his deep, dark secret. Like, oh my God, the fact that this guy is such a disgusting chameleon. Like it's one thing to be able to adapt to situations because some people, like when people like dialect switch up, some people act like that's like a bad thing, but that's actually like a sign of high intelligence that you can sort of like meld and acclimate into like situations, especially when it's necessary to like get your point across or share communications to where there's not like a barrier. But when you can go from cutting off fingers and mutilating a child's body to, hey guys, oh my God, my album's coming out in like 5.2 seconds. No, that's not normal. That's not normal at all. That part too. Because remember, there was even one really sarcastic, stupid video that he put out. And it was like, oh, I clean shoes as a side hustle when he's like making all of this money. And it's her freaking shoes. And he's sitting there scrubbing the shit out of these shoes, crouched down like a freaking goblin. Oh, just FYI, I clean shoes as a side hustle. No, you don't. What? Yeah, he literally in everyone's faces. Man, disgusting. Okay, we're going to skim through a couple of things until we get to the base part that I want to read here. Severe post-mortem changes. That's very important to keep in mind that her body was found in September. The day after she would have turned 15, and she was already gone for months. She was 14 when he killed her. I think the cats are having a barrel race down the hallway. That's like the 5th time I've heard a turn. They will do this from the living room at the end of the couch by the window all the way down the hallway until they hit the shower wall. And then they barrel into each other in the shower because for some reason the boys never shut the door. And then they do it all over again. It's literally a barrel race. So if you hear things tumbling around, that's those fat asses out there doing the most, okay? But we need to keep in mind that she was found the day after she would have turned 15 and she'd already been gone for months. So half of her face was skeletonized, one of her eyes was missing, and the other one was pretty much liquefied because of how bad like her body had already been taken care of, which it obviously was not. 2 penetrating wounds of the torso, right abdomen with injury to liver, left chest with penetration of underlying intercostal space and cortical disruption of adjacent ribs. Other findings, bilateral dismemberment of upper and lower extremities, multiple additional skin defects. And plus there was some substances in her system. Originally, they tried to say that she had some sort of MDMA, is that how you say it? MDMA in her system because it like came up in the first testing, but then in the second testing, it really didn't, is how I'm understanding it. Also, the ethanol levels in her system are also the same way that it was with Kylie Rodney. The ethanol levels in her system are consistent with decomposition levels. So they can't technically tell if she was drinking at the time that she was killed because the levels are actually what they would have technically been, I guess. Let's see. I wanted to just show you because I don't want to really get verbally like all into this because it's just disgusting. But I wanted to show y'all. See, at first it was for benzos, MDMA, MDMA, and I think amphetamine. Yeah, amphetamine, MDMA, and benzos initially, but then they did it again and it was inconclusive for designer opioids. I'm not really quite sure what that would mean. What are designer babies? Holy shit. You can do, I don't even want to know. I don't even want to know. What are designer opioids? Designer opioids are a subset of novel psychoactive substances. Laboratory engineered compounds designed to replicate the effects of controlled opioids while avoiding detection or classification. Ah. Okay, so they're specifically designed to do the job, but they don't sit in the system. Jesus. Fent is one of them. What the hell is a utopioid? Originally studied by pharmaceutical companies, compounds never reached prescription market but have appeared in street drugs called pink or gray death. What the frick is a nidazine? It sounds like something from the old Bible days. A nidazine. Developed in the 1950s but never marketed, these opioids have recently emerged in Europe and North America. 20 to 40 times stronger than Fent. Can we freaking not? Can we not? What the? I can't. Oh my God. Look, I didn't even like try Mary Jane until I was like 28 years old. My entire high school life, all I did was smoke cigarettes and drink freaking Smirnoff. Okay. So all this other stuff out there, it's okay. People are wild. People are brave as hell. Y'all are wild as hell out there, bro. Just doing anything. The hell. My God. All right. Down here is where they have like where her injuries were. And this one is like light. It gets worse. So this is one of two. And it has an injury right here in between the ribs right here. And then right here on this other side of her. So it's a 1.5 inch depth. This one's 2 inches deep right here. But then look at all of this right here. This is what's crazy. Partially skeletonized face. The globe in the eye area was not present, which means the eye was gone. And the other side, it was like liquefied is what the report says. She still had her braces on. She still had her braces on. There was a defect in the armpit. This is where the injury was. This is where the other injury was. There's another defect on her here. Okay, so then this is where she was cut. This is where she was cut. Is how I'm understanding these marks. This is where she was cut. This is where she was cut. So it was like this in one bag then. And then arms separate. This piece separate, this piece separate, and this separate. I don't know what this right here is for, unless they're also trying to say that her foot was cut. Jesus Christ. That's freaking okay. This portion down here is what I wanted to read before we move on to the preliminary report. God damn. That's crazy, bro. This is just so gross. Hold on, let me put like a little warning graphic descriptions of the deceased body of a minor child. I don't know any other way to say it other than what the frick it is, and I need to have something on here. Okay. All right. Okay. Let me go up here, I guess. I'm trying to figure out where to put me. We're having a storm. Scared the crap out of me this morning. I didn't know it, and then thundered, and I almost like died. It scared the shit out of me so bad. Okay, this is the tow yard. It says, informant witness statement. I spoke with LAPD West Bureau Homicide Detective Lamberti on scene. He prefaced his statement by informing me that this case has been actively transferred to LAPD Robbery Homicide Division Detective Byers, and then gives the badge number. Information is preliminary and subject to change due to the ongoing investigation. He told me that on 8/26/25, a passerby called the Los Angeles Department of Transportation to report an abandoned black Tesla parked on the street. LA DOT employees cited the vehicle on 9/3/25, impounded it on 9/5/25, and towed it blank. I don't know why that's like that, because the name of the tow yard was like all over the news. On 9/8/25, a manager noticed a foul odor emanating from the vehicle and reported it to Auto Detective Clore. Detective Clore inspected the car's front trunk and discovered a large black zippered body bag with handles that apparently you can freaking buy on the internet. That's insane. He partially opened the bag to reveal a human torso and the back of a head. Due to obvious signs of death, he pronounced death on scene at 1100 hours without medical intervention. There is no person of interest in custody at this time, and charges are pending. No weapon recovered. Decedent's identity is unknown. They didn't tell us for like a while. They didn't know for a long time. The location was on the second story of a police garage impound lot situated on the northwest corner of North Mansfield Avenue and Romaine Street. There are multiple miscellaneous vehicles parked around the lot. The decedent was lying inside the front trunk of a Tesla, and I don't know why this would be blacked out right here. Registered to David Anthony Burke. Like, I don't know why that would be blacked out, but okay. The Tesla, maybe it's the VIN number of the Tesla, maybe, possibly. I don't know. The Tesla was parked on the southeast quadrant of the lot facing east. The front trunk was open, and yellow police tape surrounded the nearest vehicles, including the Tesla. All of that was on the news. We saw that. I even used some of that as a thumbnail background for a while. Very odd, the way the little tint was just up and the car was just in the middle of all these cars. And then to know, and then that wasn't even the only body in a car found that day. There was another one reported just a few hours before that in another tow yard, another body in another car, same freaking day. Crazy. From a distance, a black body bag was visible and exposed inside the front trunk of the car. I did not observe any illicit drugs, drug paraphernalia, or alcohol on scene. No weapons were located. This is the original body examination. I observed the decedent's posterior head and torso lying prone in a body bag inside the front trunk of a Tesla. Her head was oriented towards the north. She appeared of indeterminate age and ethnicity with dark hair and natural teeth. But remember, she also had on braces. She was wearing a tube top. I believe it to be yellow. Underwear, leggings, and socks. I observed multiple holes in the front and back of the tube top. She was missing both arms above the elbows and both legs above the knees. Underneath the body bag was a black trash bag that contained the decedent's apparent compiled bilateral arms and legs. They appear to have been dismembered into several fragments. The decedent was in an advanced state of decomposition, demonstrated by foul odor, discoloration, liquefaction, insect activity, partial skeletonization, and skin slippage. A child. I noted an approximate 1-inch linear defect on her abdomen and a circular defect on her left flank. A left ring and pinky finger appears to have been mutilated, and I did not locate them during my scene examination. Now, the finger that's missing is the one that has his name on it. Like, one of the fingers has his name on it. What she kept, what he didn't take off of her, was the matching tattoos that they had that said shh, the one that he actually does have, which they're both identification markers. So odd, honestly. Odd. She has a tattoo that reads shh on the inside of her right index finger. I did not observe any other discernible scars or tattoos. And yeah, here they have her leggings, her under, her socks, her shirt, body bag handles, body bag side handles. So here's another one that says, prior to my arrival, the frunk was open and the body bag was unwrapped and opened to view the decedent. The decedent is dismembered and was inside a black body bag and a black trash bag. The decedent was severely decomposed and there was decomposition fluid on the outside and inside of the bags. The decedent was female and had dark hair with decomposition fluid and insect activity. Also, insect activity was observed on the body and the body bag. The body bag had a double zipper, 3 handles on each length side, and a handle on the top and bottom with end. The body bag took most of the frunk space. Inside the frunk, the body bag contained the decedent's head and torso in a prone position. The decedent's head pointed north and her thighs pointed south. The trash bag was at the south end of the frunk beneath the body bag. The trash bag was tied and contained the decedent's dismembered limbs, arms with hands, and legs with feet. The decedent's arms were cut and removed at the bicep, and the legs were cut and removed above and below the knee. Before moving the body bag, the handles and zippers were swabbed, the body bag and trash bag removed from the frunk and placed on a plastic sheet. The decedent was then removed from the bags and put in another plastic sheet. The decedent's left hand was missing the ring and pinky fingers. Wearing a discolored tube top, discolored underwear, black leggings, black socks. Shirt appeared to have 3 cut artifacts. Leggings were cut around the knees. See, that's another thing. Like, he didn't even take her clothes off to take her apart. Like, that's crazy. At the cut site, the right foot attached to the torso, there was a small blue plastic pieces. They don't know if that is part of this like kiddie pool that he apparently put in the garage to help him, or if it's a tarp. Also, the legs and arms from the trash bag had small blue plastic pieces at the cut sites. Yeah. But I've also heard them say something about possibly him creating a 3D printed blade of some sort of like handsaw maybe. And he was also ordering shit off Amazon under a female's name. So there's that too. There's that too. So that's going to be here in this information. This is the preliminary briefing that came out yesterday. It's freaking horrible, bro. It is so disgusting. But like, I understand, like, I know that the Idaho case is really, really bad. And I understand why a lot of people can't handle this case. But I care about this case. Like, this is crazy. I don't think I've ever heard something so ridiculous coming from a case involving a child, and so many people were aware of what the hell was happening and nobody did a damn thing. Like, that is the craziest part of this whole thing. I mean, yeah, calling and reporting her, whatever, but then you go an entire year and she's going back and forth and nobody's doing anything and the family's not saying anything and people are getting paid off and all this other shit's going on. Like, come on, bro. Come on. All right, this was the filing from April 29th when they had the hearing. I think they were supposed to have another one like coming up really soon, but then I saw Steve tweeted something about the 26th of May. So I'm going to have to just check it myself and see, but we're going to read all of this. It's 8 pages. For some reason, when people were posting it, well, there was like a proof of service or some shit like that was included, but I didn't take the proof of service. So this is just 8 pages. But this is what was presented to the court for the preliminary that just happened. So get ready, because this is going to have even more things about the history. Background facts. The dismembered body of 14-year-old Celeste was discovered in the front trunk of defendant's Tesla Model X on September 8th, 2025. The vehicle had been towed 3 days prior from 1405 Bluebird Avenue, which was parked approximately 400 feet from defendant's home at 1368 Duhaney Place in the Hollywood Hills. Rental, and also that is who hired Steve Fisher, the private investigator, is the owner of this house. Surveillance video and other evidence confirms defendant was the last person to drive the vehicle on July 29th, 2025, before he left Los Angeles on a concert tour. I guess we can technically stop there for just a second because there is a video that they did release, and it's apparently of the Tesla getting moved. So this is it right here. You'll see that pretty good. This is coming from a Ring camera. It's only 7 seconds. Let's see if can I slow it down. Well, I'll play it regular and then we'll slow it down. So there's the Tesla. Okay, see how the window was down? Okay, so now let's see if I can slow it. Can I slow it? Playback speed. Halfway. God, it's like, I can't even see. They're trying to say that the person in here has like a blondish hair. I'm not seeing that. Let me get bigger. I'm not seeing blonde hair. Like, I'm not seeing anything. You want to be those areas. I can't see who the frick that possibly could be. I can't tell shit. Like, I can't even see. Okay, now I barely see a shoulder. It's so hard to tell. And see, like, you can't even, it's so dark looking in, you can't even see. Maybe an arm right there. It's so hard to see. But they also have more than one angle, hopefully. At least that's how I'm understanding it. Yeah, I remember seeing that. That's why I was like, okay, well, I'm looking for that. But the way that Steve Fisher described this in his interviews was that it was a different person that like moved the car for him. See, this is where he's like, she traveled to London. She couldn't have gone there without consent. They have to have visas. Parents have to sign it. So how the frick did that happen? How the frick did that happen? I don't know. Okay. But the car was moved like the same day or like the night before they left on the tour bus. Like the way that it was described is the car was moved and then they were gone. Yeah. On September 8th, 2025. Make sure you guys can see this. Well, see, I need to move this down, I guess. Okay. On September 8th, 2025, the manager of the tow yard where the Tesla had been impounded noted the strong smell of decay and the presence of flies coming from the vehicle. He noticed Los Angeles Police Department Hollywood auto detectives notified, who determined the Tesla was registered to defendant through departmental resources. At the tow yard, LAPD detectives opened the Tesla's front storage compartment and observed a black cadaver bag covered in insects. Inside the bag, they discovered a severely decomposed head and torso. A plastic garbage bag beneath the black cadaver bag contained the dismembered arms and legs. However, the victim's ring and pinky fingers on her left hand had been amputated and were not found in the Tesla. On September 16th, 2025, the LA County Medical Examiner's Department positively identified the body from dental records as belonging to the victim. Pursuant to their investigation, LAPD robbery homicide detectives determined the victim and defendant met in January 2022 when she was just 11 years old. They began a relationship of illegal nature in November of 2023 when the victim was just 13 and the defendant was 18. Now, what's even creepier about this part of like when he met her is that there was a song that came out and there was some sort of lyric that was in there, something about no more tears, 7 more years or some shit. And 11 plus 7 is what? Legal age of 18. So even when she was 11 years old, he was singing all of these weird songs about how, oh, it's just 7 more years basically until she's legal. Ugh. And it took this long to cuff his ass. I don't understand. Detectives learned the victim had been reported missing to the Riverside County Sheriff's Department by her family, who lives in Lake Elsinore, in February and April 2024. RCSD telephonically contacted defendant on February 17, 2024, after they identified a phone number in the victim's phone records that belonged to him. During the call, defendant claimed he had spoken to the victim last February 13th or 14th, 2024, when she had originally gone missing, but stated he was unaware she was a minor or that she had been reported missing. RCSD advised him that Los Angeles County Department deputies would be coming to his home. On that day, defendant was living at 804 North Duhaney Place in West Hollywood. So the same street, just the opposite side. Because the house where he was at the time was 1368 Duhaney Place. So same street, different side, maybe. So they requested that LASD conduct a welfare check at the defendant's home. Deputies went to the defendant's home that night at 8:15 and informed him the victim was a 13-year-old runaway. Defendant again claimed he was unaware she was a minor and he had only met the victim once in person in November 2023, which is not true. Is not true. However, defendant showed deputies a yearbook photo of the victim he had on his cell phone. Yearbook. School. Although he claimed to be unaware of where the victim was at the time, she returned home 2 days later. This is the same instance that they said that his management team received an email with her missing persons poster in it. So they were well aware. They were well aware of the entire thing. They were well aware. And he kept her around. He was paying for her Uber. He was taking her to London. He was taking her everywhere. He lied. Of course he did. Again, he wrote a song when she was younger about how 7 more years is all it was going to take. Homeboy, you knew. Come on. Despite being informed by law enforcement, the victim was only 13. Defendant continued to pursue her. After the victim returned home in February 2024, her parents took her cell phone away. Defendant drove to Lake Elsinore and paid a junior high school student in the victim's class $1,000 to give the victim, Celeste, a cell phone that the defendant purchased so that they could stay in contact. So he went and bought her a phone and then paid someone $1,000 to slip it to her at school so that she would have a private phone that her parents wouldn't know about, like a true groomer, like a true predatorial groomer. The cops had already been to this boy's house. Oh, what an idiot. Holy shit. Oh my God. Throughout 2024, the victim spent a significant amount of time with defendant, including summer weekends at his home in the Hollywood Hills and traveling with him to Las Vegas and London and Texas to meet his family. Mommy Dearest didn't look at that girl and know that she was a baby. Girl, yeah, you did. Text messages between the victim and defendant contain references to sex, pregnancy, that, and use of the Plan B emergency contraceptive. There are also explicit photographs documenting and corroborating their relationship, their very illegal one. In November 2024, defendant and the victim broke up, although they continued to communicate, and text messages suggest they also continued the illegal legal part. So even though they weren't together, they were still sleeping together. And the cops didn't do nothing. See, that's my whole other part with this, okay? The cops already went to his freaking house in February and said, hey, she's 13, biatch. What are you doing? All right? So how the frick did we get all the way from, when was it? How the frick did we get all the way from February 2024 to September 2025 when her body was found? How did we get all the way from February 2024 to April 23rd, 2025 when he actually killed her? And the cops never revisited his ass again? The cops didn't. Where's the charges? Why was it taking so long? Why did they know this from phone records that they were contacting each other and that he was still doing all of this? Even if they didn't know he was still doing all of this, why, if they knew from everything else that was paper trail that he knew that she was 11 years old whenever he met her, why was he still out to kill her when he killed her? He should have been arrested and behind bars at the time of these dates. He shouldn't have been out on tour, coming back from freaking Coachella. Are we for real? Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. April 23rd, 2025 is the likely date of the victim's death and when all her cellular activity ceased. Now, see, I have questions about that because I distinctly remember, and I could be remembering wrong because these are both A months, but I could have sworn that they said something about there being communications between her and family all the way through to like end of July, early August, and that's when they stopped hearing from her, was in August of 2025. Because I remember we heard that, and then we were going back into his tour dates, and we were trying to see like where he was, what show was he at when all this stuff was going on? Could he have had time to have gone back to California? Like what was happening? And I remember it all being right there at the end of summer, at the beginning of August. So now that story's changed. Now the story is changing to where they're saying that it was April. Well, I remember the story being freaking August because everybody was looking up tour dates for June, July, and into August to see where he was. Because there was even, I think, like a date where he was in Texas. And again, I could be remembering wrong, but everything about everything is that it was freaking August. So I don't know what was up with that. But we also know that they think that he was sending messages and stuff to her phone after he killed her to like make it seem as if he didn't know where she was. We also know in cases like with the Gabby Petito and Brian Laundrie situation where he pretended to be her after he killed her. So I guess we'll never know. I guess we will never know. I mean, maybe we'll know. Maybe. The night prior, on April 22nd, 2025, defendants and the victim engaged in a lengthy argument described in detail in their text messages. The messages reveal the victim's jealousy over defendant's relationship with other women. But are they women or are they freaking minors? Because SF Investigates has two more people that came forward. One is 17 and one is much younger. Or one was 17 at the time and the other one was much younger. So were they women or were they other teenage girls and he's a grown-ass adult? I don't know. As defendant led her to believe they had a future together, she became extremely upset and threatened to disclose damaging information about her relationship with the defendant to end his career and destroy his life. Okay. Now, they also mentioned blackmail back in the beginning of this when the video with the teacher came out and he was telling everyone the story and he knew that it was David. He said, this is him right here. This is the guy on social media. She met him online. She met him on social media. She met him on the internet. Blackmail was mentioned then too.
So I guess maybe there was some blackmail going on back then too, but I don't really think it maybe affected him too much because the cops already came to the house and like suddenly she's home and like nobody was looking anymore. Or maybe there was something else going on back there with blackmail too, and that's why other things happened. I don't know. But then again, you also have to ask yourself, okay, you have all these text messages between these two. Y'all have had all of these text messages since the day you ran her information. Since the day you knew it was his vehicle. Like there's no way that within let me let him make it for a minute, all right? A week at the latest that you have these messages of them arguing about all this stuff and this illegal relationship, this illegal sexual relationship between this 14-year-old girl and this grown-ass man who's out on tour. And it still takes you this long to arrest him? Why didn't they instantly just arrest him for the relationship that was illegal and hold him on that until they had more? Because regardless, that charge is going to stick. So I don't really quite understand what their end game was here, letting him be out for so long. Because like all of his assets and stuff are now like with his parents. Like everything is, I think, like in his mom's name. So he can't even like really lose much besides his reputation when he goes to prison because everything's in mama's name. So he's going to get out and have everything. This is how it freaking seems. That's how it looks right now. Defendant's first studio album was due to be released on April 25th, 2025. He had an emerging multi-million-dollar career already in progress. He also had multiple product endorsements, which are highly profitable. At approximately 8:40 on April 23rd, 2025, defendant sent an Uber to transport the victim from her Lake Elsinore home to his residence. They communicated before and during her Uber ride, which dropped her off at the Hollywood Hills home around 10:10 p.m. At approximately 10:30, defendant sent text messages to the victim inquiring where she was, but they know that she got dropped off 20 minutes before that. That is where I think they're getting their time frame. Because at 10:30, he's already sending a text message trying to swerve it, trying to cause a distraction. But the app says that she got there 20 minutes before that. So she would have been in the house. He would have known for 20 minutes where she was. So I guess the question is the whole reason for the lying in wait thing is because they believe that he only Ubered her over there to kill her. So I'm assuming that they're guessing that he attacked her the second she walked in with a knife and then was done enough to be able to send some bullshit text message faking not knowing where she was 20 minutes later. I'm guessing that's where it's coming from. That makes sense. Yeah. See, the people contend this was part of the defendant's premeditated plan to cover up the murder as she was already dead by this time. Which you'd think, like, this kind of like tells you how freaking dumb he is, right? Because he is paying for the Uber. There is confirmation in communication on these phones that he is telling her to come over. He is paying for the Uber. He is sending the ride to go and get her, and it is taking her to his house. Does he not know in the age of what made him famous, which is the internet, which is the way that things actually work, that all of that is a paper trail and it would not work for him not to know where she was? Like on top of that, the house had security cameras. So cool, yeah, they have the timestamp, but they would also have the camera showing her getting dropped off and her going inside the house. What a freaking idiot. Like, come on. That like generation knew better. Like, that's crazy as shit. Knowing he had to silence the victim before she ruined his music career as she had threatened, very soon after her arrival at his home, defendant stabbed the victim to death multiple times and stood by while she bled out. So they must have proof that it definitely did not end quickly for them to believe that. Like, he probably watched it. And he probably talked shit the whole time. And probably tried to blame her. Look, I'm telling you now, like, I've seen this idiot in the way that he acts.
He was probably crying. His face was probably all snotty and wet from all his disgusting shit coming out of his face. And he was probably trying to blame her. How dare you try to ruin me after everything that I've done for you? I've taken you here. I've taken you there. He tried to blame her. I'm telling you now, that's how it went down. I can see it. I can see it. I can see him throwing his hands up in the act. I can see it. She died getting yelled at and blamed and probably called all kinds of names as she lay there 14 years old bleeding out on the floor. They took too long. They took too long. Despite knowing she was dead and her family was trying to find her, the evidence will show defendant lied and claimed he didn't know where she was. In fact, defendant drove to Santa Barbara County immediately after the victim died, attempting to dispose of her property and destroy evidence. But what property, though? Like, what did he try to get rid of? Maybe phone? Like, there's apparently on the 23rd, the video and the, like, or it's either the video or the still shot. Her purse is, like, in the background. So the only thing that I can really think of is, like, he killed her, made his freaking little weirdo videos to make it look like he wasn't doing anything wrong, and then immediately took off after that. Like, he put his distraction up there and then took off. There's even a video of him, like, sitting in a chair with her purse on his lap, and, like, he's going through it. Dude is so sick. So sick. So I don't know what he was trying to dispose of out there, considering that she was in the house the whole time, like in the garage the whole time. At approximately 11:30 p.m. on April 23rd, 2025, he drove away from his home as he texted and called the victim's phone asking where she was. Like, there's no way that you're going to ever try to convince me that some random ass stranger snatched her ass up out that Uber the second she got out, killed her, did all these things to her, and then she still ended up stinking up the house, technically. Like, the body was stinking up the house the whole time. It's on live, people talking about it. Like, it was filtering through the entire house for months. And then she was also found in his Tesla. There's no way that you're going to try to convince me that some random ass stranger did all that and then somehow it still ended up being the way that it ended up being. There's no way. Guilty as shit. There's like nothing that's going to change my mind. It'll have to take something that no one could write. No one could ever come up with to change my mind. He's guilty of every damn thing he's being accused of, and plus some. And plus some. Again, these were acts calculated and planned to set up his defense within a short timeline after the victim's vicious murder. Defendant drove his Tesla north on the 101 freeway to San Marcos Pass Road, SR 154, near Lake Cachuma in Santa Barbara County. He returned home early the following morning on April 24th, 2025, before going to a radio interview for the release of his album that week. He sent 2 additional texts to the victim's phone that day, which obviously went unanswered because she was already dead. After April 26, 2025, defendant never attempted to contact her again. And I believe the 25th is also like the date on the timeline where he announced to his little groupies or whatever that him and Celeste had broken up because they knew that they were together. Like, that's when, like, even though they apparently weren't together officially, she disappeared off of the boards, off of the Discord and like all the things. And the story is that they broke up. That's in the timeline. Tellingly, defendant subsequently purchased tools to carry out his plot to dismember and dispose of the victim's body. On April 24th, 2025, defendant ordered a shovel from Home Depot that was delivered to his home from Postmates. On May 1st, 2025, defendant ordered and subsequently Amazon delivered 2 chainsaws to his home. Now, this is a week. This is exactly a year today. Today is May 1st. Everybody's bills are due. Today is May 1st. 2 chainsaws. On May 5th, 2025, defendant ordered and Amazon subsequently delivered a body bag. Man, you know, I'm going to look. Body bag. Why does Amazon sell this shit? Bruh. Why does Amazon sell this shit? This should be something that only can be bought from a manufacturer that sells to hospitals and that sells to medical staff. Why are you allowed to buy this on Amazon? Oh my God. Wow. Amazon is doing the freaking most, bro. Oh my God. Amazon. I am disturbed. I am disturbed as F. And the rest of them are crossbody bags. Oh my effing God. It has to be this one. I feel like it's probably this one. Oh my God. And it's marked as the best seller. This is horrible. It literally calls it a cadaver bag. Amazon, y'all are effed up, bro. Y'all should not be selling body bags on Amazon. Can hold up to 300 pounds. We would carry my fat ass. That's crazy. Oh, I'm shook. They have no shame. They have no shame. I am, what the frick, Amazon? That's crazy. Holy shit. Okay. Besides the body bag, heavy-duty laundry bags and a blue inflatable pool were also purchased from Amazon. He made these purchases under the fake name of Victoria Mendez. So that's what I want to know, though. Did he also have Walmart freaking sells them? That's horrible. I don't give a shit. That's crazy as hell. The woman's name, Victoria Mendez. I know it says he was ordering them under that name because there's like a picture of mail that SF has that has like the girl's name on it right here. Victoria Mendez was the name that he was using to come and get his stuff. So did he also have a bank account with this girl's name on it too, and like a whole fake identity behind her? Because we know that Celeste had all kinds of different fake IDs. Like it's literally in the reports as multiple fake IDs. So that he just had like a whole female persona that he bought stuff under. Yeah, fake name, but has it delivered to his actual house. Like what a freaking idiot. This dude had no idea how shit worked. None. Like, what the frick, bro? I am so I'm done. This is crazy as hell. Okay, let's see. Okay. On May 8th, 2025, defendant returned to the same area in Santa Barbara County, leaving his home around 11:30. He returned to the area again on May 31st. This is an isolated site off of SR 154 where the victim's identification was subsequently discovered in January 2026. What? We knew it was Celeste before that. This statement is confusing. What the hell does this mean? This is an isolated site off SR 154 where the victim's identification was subsequently discovered in January 2026. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. Additionally, on July 7th, 2025. Okay, so this is let's backtrack for a second. So, considering the fact that he went back and forth so much, okay, is there a possibility that on May 8th, he went and like dropped her off in Santa Barbara County somewhere? Because there was a shovel, the bag, all the stuff, right? And then he went back out on May 31st and got her body again. Like, could he not be away from her? And he took her to some site in Santa Barbara County and dropped her body off. That's where they found her passport. Interesting. I didn't know that's where they found it. So I wonder if he went there to like drop her body off, and then he went back out there and got her because he couldn't be without her. Because there's a disgusting obsessive situation there. Additionally, July 7th, 2025, defendant ordered and subsequently Amazon delivered a burn cage, just like the first thing Steve told us about, to his home under the same fake name as part of his plan to incinerate evidence. Oh, thank you for the gift of memberships, Legal Swag. Congratulations to those who got those. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, see, that's what I don't like. That's what I'm wondering. Did he keep her in the house the whole time, or did he take her out there at some point and then go back and get her? I guess we'll find out. I don't know. That's just a thought right now. Because he didn't buy the damn burn thing until, oh my God, a month, bro. All of June went by and he didn't buy it until July 7th. I mean, it explains the videos that have like conversations about a smell. Jeez. Moreover, defendant took horrifying measures to destroy and discard the victim's body. After placing her body into the blue inflatable pool to prevent her blood from spilling onto his garage floor, defendant used a chainsaw and perhaps other tools to cut off her limbs. Small blue plastic fragments were found embedded in the victim's remains, which were collected by the medical examiner. The fragments were analyzed by the LAPD's Forensic Science Division, Trace Analysis Unit. An expert was able to make a physical fit match from the blue fragments to the blue inflatable pool purchased by defendant on May 2025. In order to distance himself from the victim, he amputated her left ring and pinky fingers because her ring finger contained a tattoo of his name, but didn't get rid of the finger with the matching tattoo, which is just crazy. Her fingers have not been recovered. Defendant then placed her head and torso in the cadaver bag he purchased. He placed her limbs into a garbage bag, which he deposited into his front trunk, laying the cadaver bag on top. So where was she in the meantime? Like in the trunk the whole time? Because again, remember that car, that's the weird part about the timing. The car's registration was never done. Like when it was due for that year in 2025, he never went and did it. And then at the very, very beginning of February, he started leasing the red one, the red Tesla. I do remember them saying at some point they thought that maybe there were signs of the fact that she could have been frozen at some point. Something about the way her cells looked under microscope. Something like that. Okay. Defendant then placed her head and torso into the cadaver bag he purchased. He placed her limbs into a garbage bag, which he deposited into the front trunk, laying the cadaver bag on top. For several weeks or possibly months, defendant left the victim's body to decompose inside his Tesla. So when he drove out to Santa Barbara, was he in the black Tesla that wasn't registered, or was he in the red one? Did it say? And I like skipped over it. My brain's not remembering. It doesn't say. Oh, right here. Well, it still doesn't say though, because he has two freaking Teslas. It just says defendant drove his Tesla north. He has two. The black one that wasn't registered anymore, and then the red one. So I need clarification on that part. Okay. Moreover, no, I think we read that part already. Hold on. Yeah, I need clarification on which one he was driving. He lied to friends, business associates, and others who noticed the strong smell of decay in and around his home and vehicle. Yeah, again, on live streams, people would bring it up. Before leaving on his concert tour at the end of July, these are the dates that we were looking at, he parked his Tesla on the street and around the corner from his home. See, that's why when the family said they hadn't heard from her since August, it made sense because of the dates we have for his tour starting. So I need clarification on if they were actually getting some sort of communication from Celeste actually into August, and they're just saying that her cellular activity stopped then because it was coming from maybe another device. Maybe she was like, hey, I got a new number. And they just believed it because she maybe constantly changed her devices, constantly had a new phone. I need them to clarify on that for sure. He parked his Tesla on the street around the corner from his home. So they are saying that it definitely was him driving. Okay. LAPD served a search warrant at defendant's home at 1368 Duhaney Place on September 17th, 2025, after the victim was identified by the Los Angeles County Medical Examiner on September 16th. We watched those videos. We covered that part. I tried to cover everything that was happening as it first started. Like I talked about this a lot on Twitter for like 2 weeks before I covered it over here on YouTube. And then once like we knew exactly what was going on and all the information came out and the grand jury stuff started, is basically like where I kind of like stopped covering it so much. Not just because we had so much stuff going on in Idaho, but because so much of it was just like this background noise, just this who has the better informant, who can get the best information, and not really a lot of like who actually gave a shit about anything. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? Like it was really just like who could get all the information from the grand jury and put it out to the internet the fastest, when all that stuff is supposed to be like secretive and like not really out there. But we knew everybody who was going in for the grand jury. We knew who was about to be arrested for not wanting to actually testify. Like it was the most public grand jury I think I've ever heard of in my life. And there was nothing happening. And it was just like, what are we supposed to do until there's an arrest? Get aggravated about nothing happening? So I'm glad something finally happened, but this was so dumb that it took this long. They had so much evidence of him being a disgusting piece of shit. I just don't understand it. Inside the garage, detectives discovered evidence consistent with the dismemberment of the victim's body in the inflatable pool, which contained multiple linear cuts. Several biological samples, which tested positive for blood, were collected within the garage area. DNA analysis determined the various samples matched the victim's unique genetic profile. On December 9th, 2025, the medical examiner ruled the victim's death a homicide caused by 2 penetrating injuries to the torso. On January 17th, 2025, the victim's U.S. passport card, okay, right here, was found by a Caltrans worker off of SR 154 in Santa Barbara County. The people will present the following evidence at the preliminary hearing, including, but not limited to, the description of photographs depicting the victim naked, as well as while she was engaged with defendant in doing illegal things when she was 13. As this evidence constitutes CSAM, the photographs themselves will not be presented. While all possible charges that could be proven were not filed,
The CSAM is proof of their ongoing illegal relationship while the victim was 13 or 14. Why? 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 Numerous text messages between defendant and the victim evidencing their illegal relationship, pregnancy A, and use of Plan B. Messages through March 2025 prove defendant continued to manipulate the victim as she messaged, "All we do is illegal things and just hang out, man. I want more than that for myself." These messages were obtained from defendant's iCloud data, so from his own information. Defendant's cellular activity and communications derived from defendant's iPhone and Tesla, which demonstrate defendant's activities from April 22nd, 2025 to the 24th, including a trip to Santa Barbara County in the middle of the night after the victim arrived at his Hollywood Hills home. Again, I really need to know if it's the freaking red one or the black one. We know which one her body was found in, but they're not being very specific. Surveillance video of defendant driving his Tesla on July 9th, 2025 for the last time before parking the vehicle and leaving on tour at the end of July. That one for sure is the black one. DNA evidence developed from bloodstains collected from defendant's garage, which matched the victim's genetic profile. Proof of defendant's Amazon purchases and deliveries to his residence, including 2 chainsaws, a body bag, an inflatable pool, heavy-duty laundry bags, and a burn cage after April 24th, 2025. Proof of defendant's purchase and delivery from Postmates of a shovel from Home Depot at his home on April 24th, 2025. That's crazy that it came from Postmates. Uber records showing defendant's transaction where he ordered an Uber to pick up the victim from her Lake Elsinore home and transport her to his residence the night of April 23rd, 2025. Proof of defendant's lucrative career as a singer-songwriter prior to April 23rd, 2025. Defendant had an album release party on the night of April 24th, 2025, before embarking on an international tour in late July 2025. Text messages exchanged between defendant and victim on April 22nd and 23rd, where the victim threatened to expose defendant and destroy his career. Like they could have had that within a few days. I don't understand. This brief is filed to assist the court in understanding the scope and relevance of evidence the prosecution intends to present at the preliminary hearing. This is just your basic mumbo jumbo. That's wild. Okay, so let's see what else Steve had said right here about the text messages. Okay. Let's read this real quick and then we'll be done with this, and then I'll be back later as we go over chapter 2 of this crazy ass book. Make sure I'm not missing anything. Okay. All right. So Steve says this about the timeline. Let me make it bigger. Can y'all see that? Okay. I can't stop thinking about the timeline of the murder of Celeste Rivas Hernandez as put forward at the pretrial brief. Could the 10:30 p.m. "Where are you?" text messages actually be real and not a staged alibi? Could Celeste have walked away after an argument upon arriving in the Uber? Maybe those texts from David asking where she was were real, and after he didn't receive a response, he went looking for her, found her, and they ended up driving to Santa Barbara County, where the killing actually occurred. He could have shut her phone off when finding her. Maybe, actually. But there would be camera footage of him like walking out the house to go look for her, because they have cameras not only on that house, but like in the whole area. So if that is a possibility, there would be camera proof of that. And I feel like Steve probably would have seen that because he was hired by the guy who owns the house. Unless there's a way to get out of the house that's not on camera, but apparently the house is surrounded by cameras. I don't know. In that scenario, her body would have remained along SR 154 for the roughly 12 days until the pool, body bag, laundry bags, and chainsaws were ordered and delivered. It's also worth noting that the pool was ordered after her death, meaning it would not have contained blood from the actual killing. That's true. That's
the spillage from him taking her apart that was for. The DA's version of events is a very compressed timeline: arrival at 10:10, a fatal stabbing, and then being composed enough to send an alibi text by 10:30. I mean, yeah, that sounds about right for the kind of mental illness that somebody like this would have to have, especially when they have a secondary persona that they placed as a character for their album that sits there and tears people from limb to limb, literally. Like his entire persona with the Atame or whatever character is that Atame is the villain and kills people, and then the David character is the good guy who goes and solves the murders, is the gist of it. But in his videos, he's putting bloody bodies in a car, in a trunk. Like, come on. Yeah, he very much could have done it and literally turned around with the blade still in his hand and his body hiding her body with somebody at the door frame asking what was going on. And he could lie enough to make the person turn around and forgetting her to scream. That's the kind of person this is. You can see it. You can see it. He's a grooming pedophilic chameleon. You can see it. That's a 20-minute window. They also claim the trip to Santa Barbara that evening was to start disposing of evidence. However, the evidence had not even been purchased yet. Well, her passport card was out there, so something was out there. But, like, did he try to just, like, throw it out scattery? Did he try to burn it out there somewhere? Like, I don't know what was the point of driving out there if he didn't have, like, a direct spot where he knew he could get it safely taken care of. Because, again, it was just, like, randomly found. Her passport was just randomly found. The pool, chainsaw, shovel, and other items had not been ordered at the time of the first Santa Barbara trip. Yeah. There was also a question of storing a body at his manager Josh Marshall's rental house for 12 days while waiting for tools. That's the one that got the email about her being a 13-year-old runaway at the time. And it got to David, and then there she goes. With nearby neighbors and decomposition odors likely becoming noticeable within a few days. All while David was out of town and having to trust that nobody would enter a house that wasn't even leased to him. That's right, because he was staying in that house, but it was under his manager's name for some reason. None of this changes the central point that David is responsible. He killed Celeste, that I am certain of. Like I said, the DA is likely correct in their theory. They're working with all the evidence. Yeah, I think it was, to me, it feels like it would have to be staged. But this other portion kind of does make sense. Like, what if because they were arguing, right? Like, what if because they were arguing, she gets there and he said some real effed up shit? Like, maybe he threatened her back after she threatened him. And maybe she just didn't want to fight anymore. And maybe she got there and maybe she just decided to take off. And maybe he went after her. But there's no way that, like, someone else is who found her, and then it still magically ended up being the way that it was with the purchases and all the other stuff. Like, there's just no way that it's not him. So, maybe that first one is maybe real, because maybe he noticed that she... But then again, not even, because if you are like waiting for her to get there because y'all been arguing for like 2 days straight practically, and you just paid for her to have an Uber and you have the app because you're the one who purchased the ride and you're getting all of the notifications, you wouldn't wait 20 minutes after she gets dropped off at your freaking doorstep. And after 5 seconds of her not being in the house, you don't instantly like go to the door. No, like that doesn't make sense either. You wouldn't wait 20 minutes. You get notified. I don't know if there's indoor cameras. That's a good question. I don't think we knew any. I don't think we know that question. I don't know. I don't know. I haven't heard that. I just know the whole house had cameras. Yeah, that's another thing too. That's why, like, they knew. That's the crazy part, is that like they knew because she was at all of his shows. Like, there's pictures of her with all these damn adults. Like, they all knew. They all knew. And like they try to like make excuses for this other Celeste that was always around, the one that's actually of age. But the way that it's always been described is that when the minor Celeste and the older of age Celeste were in the same room together, instead of the little kid going by the nickname, she went by Celeste and the adult went by Cece. Which is like the opposite of freaking normal in any sort of human circumstance. Let's be serious. But also when he would have like parties and things that were going to be live streamed a lot of times, he would like people would know that Celeste was there, but she would be off in like some side room somewhere else out of view, but people knew about her. And he wasn't even that famous, bro. Like this dude just got started. He was a little Fortnite streamer. He just got started in the industry and already it goes this deep. It goes this deep to people knowing and him sleeping with multiple minors and people knowing what he was doing and catering to it and thinking it's so cute. He loves Hello Kitty. No grown-ass man that's a grown-ass man loves freaking Hello Kitty like that. Sorry, not sorry. If you've got some sort of sick obsession with a little girl that's supposed to be in a Hello Kitty costume, because that's apparently what Hello Kitty is a girl in a costume. Right? So if you've got some sort of weird ass obsession with that, you're not functioning on all cylinders, sir. Okay. And again, the fact that his picture of his mugshot, he looks 15 years older than he did at the time all this happened, tells you just how much he was trying to make himself look like a younger person so that he could get what he wanted. It was all a character so that he could lure in what he wanted. If this dude don't get the DP. If this dude don't get the DP. I don't understand it. I really don't. I really freaking don't. Thank you for the 20, Sluther. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Yeah, I took off today, so I wanted to talk about this case this morning. We're almost done. I'm about to wrap everything up. But thank you for being in here. It's just so disgusting. The whole thing is just so gross. And just the back and forth and how long he like kept her and how long all the lies kept going. And then it's so odd how confident the weirdo looks in court. Like the head movements he gives to his lawyer and just like this face that he makes. Like all of the people that were there that are like big accounts that have been talking about this for a while that were there at court like the first time, they all said he didn't seem worried. Like you've got a paper trail of disgustingness for years, bro. Why would you not be? And now all these other victims are now coming forward too. Damn, they're still tumbling out there. Fat little freakos. They better like charge him for other people too. Because there's no way that these victims are going to come forward and speak to the cops. And then just because what happened to Celeste was inevitably worse, they don't get justice. Like nothing about their stuff comes out. Like that's not going to be fair at all. Unless they're going to try to go through all of this first and then do like a separate trial for additional charges for other people. Because I've seen it done like that. Like when it comes to this kind of thing, like the murder, the biggest one gets taken care of first, and then additional charges get filed for the other victims because they're still alive, and then it goes that way. I just hope that that's at least how it ends up being, because they deserve to have their voices heard too. But like, and people can say, oh, we were wrong for questioning LAPD. No, we weren't. We weren't wrong for questioning what was taking so long now that we know what they all had, especially the fact that now we know what cops went to him. There should have been a case against his ass from the second the cops told him to his face that she was 13 and they saw a yearbook photo in his phone, proving that he knew, meaning that he lied to the cops. They should have taken him in then. What? No. RSCD or whatever. Some law enforcement agency, multiple, in my opinion, are effed up for this. Because again, RSCD is the one who went to his house, but like Los Angeles is the one who did all the warrants and saw all this shit within very few days. On top of all the stuff that was public.
public on Discord, live videos of them together, videos of her at the concerts with his brother around his managers. Like, come on. People literally saying, waiting for LAPD to come get your ass for dating that minor 3 years ago. Like, what? The fact that this just was able to happen. It's just so disgusting. It's just so disgusting. All right, you guys. Thank you so much for being in here with me today. Thank you so much for the gifted memberships. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Congratulations to those who got those. And thank you so much for the $20 super sticker. I appreciate that too. I'm going to get off of here. And again, I will be live at 6:45 so that we can go over chapter 2 of the book. We will probably do a live tomorrow morning going over Lakeland's interviews. And then we'll be live again tomorrow evening to go over chapter 3. I will say this now, though. I haven't decided yet because I don't know what me and the boys want to do. If they end up wanting to do like something, whatever, and it's going to like take up more time than I would like it to, like in way of like my schedule, I'll probably push tonight's live back about chapter 2 to tomorrow maybe. But it's storming outside, so we'll probably just stay inside and do normal stuff and then just like game out all night after the live, which is probably what'll happen. Yeah, because I was thinking about like our Fridays, and I don't think it's going to interfere much because we stay up until like 5 o'clock in the morning on Friday nights, like just doing rotato fights and shit on the game. I think it'll be okay. So I'll be back later on. And we're going to talk about the book because it won't take very long. So y'all have a safe rest of your day. I will see you guys in a little bit. Stay safe. If you're out here in the storm, stay dry, all the things. Don't forget that my thing changed now. So for the next couple of days, I just have to remind you that I'm not going to be rolling something out and then coming back to say bye. I'm going to be saying bye now because everything is now set up to do things automatically. So I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. I will see you guys later. So, see y'all. If you like the way that I present this information and give my opinion, please don't forget to leave a like on the way out. Subscribe to the channel if you have not subscribed already. And please don't forget to make sure that the notification bell is set to all so you don't miss any of my rants, reviews, reactions, updates, or deep dives.